What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 73 of the Game Bolt Podcast, the official podcast of thegamebolt.com, which normally posts to iTunes every Tuesday and YouTube every Wednesday, but this week it'll be Wednesday and Thursday. So Grant is out of town, but I will be filling in as I'm your host, Brett, and joining me is none other than my two lovely guests, Jason.
Hey,
How are you, sir?
pretty good. Just chilling, playing some Pokemon Go.
Oh, nice, nice. Been doing the same here. It's lovely. And we're also joined by Cody.
Hello, I'm
How are you,
back.
sir? Yeah, it's been
Uh,
a while, I think.
yeah, it's been quite some time. I'm doing all right. I'm worried because I'm not used to my setup right now, so
Oh,
this,
yeah.
this feels really weird. But yeah, how are you, Brett?
I'm doing well. Just had to figure out some technical issues beforehand because my mic can either be pretty decent or it can be complete crap and it kind of just makes the show not go well. So I'm like, all right, well, let's try and figure that out beforehand. But I think it's just my computer. It's almost 5 years old now. So
She's on her
that's
way out.
oh no.
I think that's how old my laptop was. I actually think what is it, July? Or no, it's August. Yeah, I think my laptop went out right as actually I think a year after my warranty ran out. Go figure. So
Yeah, and of
isn't
course.
that funny how that
All right,
works?
we're gonna use the YouTube audio, so
I was telling
acting up.
right before this podcast, my Mac was about 5 years old, and it went to having a lot of the same problems that Brett's having right now. So it's definitely
Yeah,
it's like the life cycle.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not fun. Let me just change what I can. And it seems to be not picking up, but oh well. The show must go on. Do I sound okay?
Good.
Little scratchy, but
Yeah.
I
I mean,
think we can deal with it.
I think if I can switch ports, that'll
I wouldn't worry about it. I just
okay. Anyways, again, this is the official podcast of thegamebolt.com, and why don't we start, as always, with what we are playing. So, what have you guys been playing? Or, sorry, let's go with Jason. Jason, what are you playing?
So last night, I downloaded Maldita Castilla EX, and
It's quite the name, isn't it?
yeah, it's hard
I've
to even
heard
say.
I've heard a lot of different pronunciations, honestly. So I do too.
Yeah, I've been following this game for a while. Like, I didn't watch too much footage on it, but I thought it was like a year old, but I looked it up last night. I guess it's like 3 years old. I think it
Yeah.
came out in like 2012, 2013. But I was a big like Ghosts and Goblins fan, and so when I saw
Oh
this game
yeah.
and I saw it plays just like Ghosts and Goblins, I was like, this is it. Like, I got to get this, and like didn't come to consoles until now, and so I was I was actually pretty surprised when I heard that it came to consoles last week. So yeah, downloaded it last night. And then Cody was like, "Watch out, dude! Like, this game is really tough."
Yeah.
Like, and it is like the first like 4 worlds or something. Like, I beat this on stream last night. The first 4 worlds though were pretty easy, and then right after that, I got pretty difficult. Especially the last couple of areas where there were some pretty tough stretches in there. I wasted probably I don't know how many continues, but I continued a lot towards the end there.
Yeah,
And the way that
I think I watched you up to the guy who tricks you and puts you in that room that falls down. I think I watched you like 10 minutes after that, and like I've never because I've always watched speedrunners play that game, and it looks fairly easy. And then when I watched you like continually run out of time in that room, you were doing really well at aiming, and I'm like, holy crap, this is really hard. like,
yeah.
like you see a speedrunner do it, and you just think it's kind of the norm after a while. But because I've watched tons of runs of that game, but watching you do that room right there was like the moment where I was like, wow, this game like doesn't give you any chances at all.
Oh,
Like you
wow.
were close. Like the spikes were in your head because the ceiling falls down and there's spikes on it. And literally, when you got the final blow, the spikes were in your character's like head, and I'm like, oh, he's dead. but it gave it to you. I'm like, wow, this is unforgiving.
Yeah, I
And
actually ran into a weird glitch from that last night
Oh,
too,
really?
where there's an area where you kind of have to go into like the side of these spikes, and if you touch it wrong, well, it's just like Mega Man or some of the older games. Like when you touch the spikes, you die automatically. But for some reason, like a pixel of it touched me, and it like got rid of all my hearts. Like I had no health, but I was still alive.
oh god,
And so that was a
you're a
really
ghost.
That's awesome.
yeah, as a ghost. I was like, oh, maybe I got like unlimited health now, but no, when the next
A
hit
one
killed me.
hit, yeah.
Uh,
That's cool.
Yeah, but the thing I love about it is it really does feel like an old like 8-bit era
Yeah.
game, in kind of a funny way too, because I believe it's a Spanish studio,
Yep.
and you can tell like it's really funny because I feel like they took all the text in the game because there's like text right before you fight a boss or whatever, like they talk to you, and I feel like they put that in Google Translate, whatever it was, like they
Yeah,
just
yeah.
copied and pasted that, and so because of that, there's a lot of like typos and errors, so it feels
all,
like an
all
actual
your face
authentic like
belongs to
NES game.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it feels like an actual like NES game just because of the typos and stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's so funny.
I think I
Uh,
saw Game Scoop. They had a video on this, so it's like, oh, there's like a new Ghosts and Goblins type of game, and it seems like this was it. I just haven't watched the video yet, but I watched your stream for a few minutes, and it seems just hectic and something I would get crushed in because I never played these games as a kid.
So I don't
yeah,
know if you know, but what are there for features? Like, does it have features that weren't on the PC version? You probably wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know because I'm not sure what was on there. But as soon as I started the game, I think it was just like I think there's a two-player mode because I saw
Really?
something like I could have swore it said something like like plug in another controller, do
Okay.
this or something.
Oh wow.
And I was like, oh,
I don't think
interesting.
that's a PC thing, but that would make sense if it was on console, two-player mode. Um,
Yeah,
but for those of you who don't know, I don't know if it still is, but when it came out, it was free on PC, and you said it was $10 on Xbox One.
yeah, $10.
I guess that doesn't surprise me, but it surprised me last night. But I mean, I guess they had to, considering it's a console port, it was probably a lot harder to make than just
Mhm.
like making it on PC. But
What did they make any money on it then? Because it's a pretty small studio, isn't
I
it?
don't
Like I don't think.
know. I know like it was a really kind of like stealth release. Like nobody talked about it aside from like the speedrunning community. A lot of people knew about it from that, but I mean, I don't think that the the average audience, I don't think they knew about this game until probably now. So
Right.
I can't imagine they
Yeah,
made like any profit off it.
yeah. So yeah, it was a cool game. I'd recommend it for I mean for $10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
It's
it's 10
Oh
bucks. It's
yeah.
not gonna...
Yeah, and I mean like there's there's the normal ending and then there's the true ending. And
yeah.
there's so many secrets in that game that you have to get the true ending, and there's so many items you have to get. So it's like there's so much to it that you would never know about until you played it like seven
Y-
or eight times.
Yeah, I think there's like five. I can't remember what the name of that item was
Moria's
that you said.
Tears
Yeah, I
or
got three
Moria's
of the
Tears.
five,
Yeah.
and I
Oh
knew where
really?
another one was, but I just started skipping it after a while because it was getting me
Yeah.
killed because I had to go get a key, and I was like, forget it. Like at this point, like when you continue, it kills your score. So I was like, it
Yeah.
doesn't even matter.
I don't remember how it goes, but I think you only need the tears to get the good ending. But there's secret like objectives at the end of the game, like don't continue at all.
Oh wow.
Find the village of the tiny people or something like that. Um, you know that place where that cavern you were in where it had
Yeah.
the torch guy. If you had backtracked, there was like stones that you could barely see in water, and you jump across those, and there's a village of like little tiny people, and they just like they all like parade around your feet, and then that's it, and you get like a hidden like achievement or whatever for the end of the
Yeah, I
game.
saw an achievement for that, and I was like, where the
Yeah,
hell are these
yeah,
guys?
yeah. So, but no, it's really like there's tons of content, and honestly, I'm surprised they didn't put it up on Steam when they made it. They would have made tons of money off it. I think it's really
Yeah.
decent.
Yeah, so definitely go pick that one up if you're into Ghosts and Goblins and those old like heart crushing like 8-bit era
Yeah.
games because you'll have a blast. Other than that, I picked up Abzu today and I really like it. If you're into, I mean, it's I think a lot of people know already. It's pretty much like the spiritual successor to Journey.
Oh, nice.
Is it the
Yeah,
same people who made it?
yeah, it's the
Oh,
same
okay.
people, but it's a different studio name.
Oh,
So I think what happened, and
I
I'm
think
not for
is
sure,
it Team Flower that made Journey in like those games?
it was that game company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then this is called Giant Squid, I believe, the name of the company. So I think what happened is they must have got more people in their studio, and they maybe broke into like, a couple smaller teams because it looks like they're working on a couple games like under different studio names, but
Hmm.
this has like some of the same people that were on Journey. Um, so yeah, I mean, it feels and it plays just like Journey, where you kind of like wake up in the beginning and the game doesn't
and
really
you're
tell you.
underwater.
Yeah,
You know?
you
Could you
actually
imagine?
start well. You start above water, kind of like
Yeah,
you're like
yeah.
floating, like in the middle of the ocean, and your
Oh,
character just
okay.
kind of wakes up. But it doesn't tell you much besides like just basic controls, and then it just kind of lets you roam free. And so it's just like Journey, where you keep like seeing stuff off into the distance, and you're like, "Ooh, I want to go see what that is. I want to go see what that is." Um,
Do you meet
but
random players like in Journey, or that'd be
I
cool?
haven't yet. I've only been playing for like an hour,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
but I think I would have by now if
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
a feature. Um, I so in like an era now where like there's a lot of indie games coming out where they're very like vague. Like I just played through Inside, very vague. I still enjoyed it, but I feel like it's almost like a cop out. Like there's a lot of kind of cop out games coming out.
Hmm.
Um, this has like a definite like meaning behind it, and I like that even more so than like Journey. Like Journey's was kind of vague too. Like it was definitely like the developer said like it was like the path you take and the people you meet along the way, and that was kind of like the purpose of running into like random people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But this has like a much like clearer message, and like an hour in, I can already kind of get what they're getting at with this game, and I really like that because I feel like a lot of those indie games have done away with that. They're just going into like this very vague thing, like leave it up to the player's imagination. And while
Hmm.
that's cool, sometimes like I get really sick of that. So it's nice to like see like an actual message in a game. Um, but yeah, I don't really want to give away too much. It's just like one of those things where you want to pick it up and play it.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's very similar to Journey, but it's definitely got a much stronger message. And yeah, just go play it.
How much is it?
It's on. Oh, you know what? I don't know if it's on sale anymore. I think it was on sale when you pre-ordered it, but I believe full price it's like $20.
Okay, that's no big deal.
Yeah.
It's cool because this game seems to be getting a lot of positive reception.
Hmm.
I know Jake had a chance to play it, and he's glowing about it and very excited about it. And it's cool that like they're known for Journey and all this. Journey's a great game,
Yeah.
but it's cool that they're not just the Journey people anymore. Like Abzu is its own thing, and it stands up to, from what I've heard, and from what you and Jake have said, that it stands up to Journey. It's still a fantastic game, and
Yeah.
like I just like the idea of like these people not being like the studio not being a one trick pony, one time a one hit wonder that people associate with.
Yeah, I'd go as far as saying like I'm enjoying this more than Journey,
Oh,
even
nice.
like an hour in, and it's really the best of both worlds of Journey and Flower. Like it combines both the gameplay of both of those games in a
Okay,
really sweet
nice.
way. So yeah, if you're a fan of Flower as well, you're also gonna like this. And then just the music as well. Like man, they got Austin Wintory back who did the soundtrack for Journey, and that was
Oh, nice, nice.
I believe an Emmy nominated or Grammy nominated soundtrack, and this is like yeah, I feel like it even blows that soundtrack away. Like it's
Oh,
just
wow.
beautiful. So yeah, definitely like put on some headphones and just like chill to this game because it's so like calming and relaxing too.
Yeah, I remember streaming Journey, and I think I probably beat it in like an hour and 45 minutes, and um, I thought it was such a cool experience. And then whoever was in the chat kind of I think some of the people played it themselves, but just watching someone else play it the first time is a cool thing to see.
Yeah, this is one you probably wouldn't want to stream this one just because someone could ruin moments for you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did you
so
see this? And it's like, oh, not
yeah,
yet. Dang it.
you missed the big thing.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, it means this. Yeah.
Oh, I thought I meant that.
Yeah, totally.
Uh,
So,
Cody, what do you, just everything you want to wrap up real quickly?
Nope. Just definitely go play both those games. Both great games.
All right,
Very
sounds
opposite ends of the spectrum too. Like
Yeah.
one's a really chill, like just kind of enjoy it and experience it, and the other one's like you probably won't want to play it after like 10 minutes or so. So,
yeah. Cody, what are you playing?
I've pretty much only been playing Battleborn. I picked up Battleborn because it was on sale, and I like it. I don't know if I could say much other than that. Honestly, it's good. I'm starting to get to the point where I'm not really interested in it anymore. The way it works is there's tons of characters to unlock, and I'm the kind of guy who I like to play. I can't stick with one character in anything. So the fact that there were like it wasn't like Overwatch where you had all the characters given to you and then you just picked one you want. You had to
Right.
like beat certain levels to get certain characters or do certain things like get silver medals on all of the campaign missions on a certain difficulty. And I was like, "Oh man, this is going to like I'm going to put so much time into this just getting all the characters just so I can try them all." And now I have them all, and I'm just like, I don't feel like playing anymore, because there's not a lot of people on multiplayer on PS4 anyway. I know PC. I've heard it's terrible. It's like
Oh wow.
it's abysmal the player base it has, and it's fun, but like even getting a 4-man group or a 5-man group for campaign takes like 4 or 5 minutes in a
That's annoying.
matchmaking queue, and it's just like I don't have the time, or I don't have the patience. I think is what it is. So it's pretty dull at that point. But the premise is fun. I like it, but I don't know. I'm starting to lose interest. So
Yeah, I was never particularly interested in this game. I think for one thing is like people say, oh, like you know, taking a break from Borderlands. Like Battleborn still kind of has, from what I've seen, like still has similarities to Borderlands. So I
oh
feel like
yeah.
they're really not taking a break from Borderlands. Like it
Well,
still
like a lot of
has
people said,
that humor and stuff.
they ended up making a game with tons of Borderlands aspects, and yet they branded it as its own thing, Battleborn,
Hmm.
and a lot of people said that it feels like had they just like had this game the way it was and then added a few flares from Borderlands, which I mean it kind of has already with like the loot system and stuff.
Right.
um they could have just called it like Borderlands cross dimension, or like some weird name with
Yeah.
Borderlands in it, and it would have sold like 20 million times better than it did.
Hmm.
And it was poor timing with Overwatch.
Yeah.
It was just I think it was poor marketing on their
Yeah.
part,
I think
and
it had a
just
major identity crisis.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Um,
it
because
was
it
rough.
didn't know if it wanted to be a MOBA or a shooter. Like it seems to have all those, but like in different game modes. Like one mode is like kind of like plays like a MOBA, and the other plays like
It's
a
weird.
shooter.
I would say it's more tower defense than anything, but it's got a
Okay.
weird like mechanic to it where um it's tower defense, and then because you can build like turrets or like drones and stuff that fly around and attack enemies on
Hmm.
their own, and then it has like a weird kind of like team deathmatch aspect to it at the same time, so it's really odd. And then there's 3 modes with like 5 maps each, I think. Capture like territory, and then a weird kind of more MOBA-y than anything, like lane pushing, not lane pushing, but like there's one lane and then there's a wolf sentry bot at the end that you have to kill, and then you invade their base and then you win. But it's not. It's just like one path. It's not like 3 branching paths, and that
Yeah.
feels more team deathmatchy than anything because there. It's not like how MOBA matches can go on for like hours, not hours, but
Hmm.
like an hour. This only has like a 25-minute time limit, So
Oh
the
wow.
match I played was drawn out to the 25 minutes, and it was a draw. And I was like, oh, that's fun. Like I just
Uh,
spent 25
uh,
minutes doing this, and it was a draw. I was like, that's great. Um, but I don't know. I would say the game shines in single player, or like story mode, where you end up taking those heroes into a single player or a story environment, but you still have the like the loot that you can equip and the skill tree and whatnot. So it felt like Borderlands, but like 20 times faster because instead of like getting loot and all the time switching your weapons, yada yada yada, and then leveling up really slow, getting like upgrades and putting points into things, multiple tiers. Like you could have a skill and it could be leveled up like 5 times, and like the trees were really big and long. And in this game, it's like you level up 10 times. There's 2 choices for each level. You can have 3 gear that you bring with you, and then you buy them as you play, and that's
mhm.
it. And it's just really like streamlined, and I liked it because I don't know. I feel like Borderlands is just so overwhelming with like how much weapons there are and how many like you always got to look at the stats and see like how they differ and
That's
it's
my favorite thing, though.
real.
I
I
think
don't
I think that's why I didn't like this game because I played the
really.
alpha and beta and I was like, man, they
Yeah,
like streamlined Borderlands. Like I love the characters, like the way the characters actually play and like
yeah,
how
yeah.
unique they are. But their like voices and stuff annoyed me, and then like the menus and all that stuff annoyed. Like everything about it just annoyed me. It seemed like they, like took Borderlands and like broke it apart or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I like it about that just because I don't know. I think I've played too many of those kind of games, like
Mhm.
Yeah.
Destiny and or not MOBAs, MMOs really feel that way to a certain extent with like how much gear you get and how much of it's junk and you know what I mean. Just so I kind of liked it for once to just be really
Right.
streamlined, but I don't know. I don't see a big future for it honestly. I think it's because like this was a sale they had for 30. It was $30 on PS4, and then they had a
Yeah, it
humble
came
bundle.
out what 3 months ago.
Uh, I would assume, yeah,
Yeah.
Less than like a year ago. So.
It
yeah,
was actually it was $20 at GameStop a few days ago.
Oh
really.
wow.
Yeah,
And then it
which is
was
crazy.
$15 on the humble bundle, and they say that
Whoa.
the Steam base really isn't that much bigger for it. So
Hmm.
I don't think I think this game's gonna die off pretty soon. But it's kind of sad because I liked what it did with not with like the genre, but the Borderlands formula. I liked it. Like you said, Jason, you don't. I'm sure a lot of people agree with you because
Yeah.
it's really different from what they used to do. But hopefully they learn from it because I
Yeah,
think if
hopefully they can like implement ideas from this into
yeah
Borderlands 3 maybe and like make it more accessible.
yeah so
Because I liked Borderlands when I was younger, but now I'm just like, it's not really for me.
yeah.
But oh well. And to finish up on our playing section, I have been playing Deus Ex: Human Revolution. This is to kind of get myself familiarized mainly with the mechanics of Deus Ex. I'll be reviewing Mankind Divided at later this month, and I just wanted to get a feel for the RPG elements and the world building, and just have some kind of experience before I go in.
Is this
And
is this new game gonna be like Human Revolution?
I have no idea. I think it's like in the format, it's kind of similar.
Yeah.
You can go in stealthily, or you can use weapons. But
Are there
from
gonna
what
be
I've heard,
augments and stuff like there was?
I would guess so.
Okay.
I would guess it's a pretty similar stuff. Just story wise, and they've improved upon things. I think the biggest thing that they've improved upon, from what we've heard, is that you can actually play stealthy. And because I think with Human Revolution, a lot of people complain that you go for a stealth playthrough, but you can't beat the bosses because you have to
Yeah.
use guns or something, and like that kind of defeats the purpose. And I'm hoping that's not the case with Mankind Divided. Like I hope there's a way to get about a boss or some kind of objective, and you can do the same thing if you want to go in with the guns. Um, but I mean, it came out I think 2011, so it definitely shows its age. it's kind of clunky to play, but it's definitely an interesting world to be in, and I'm intrigued by the story. I need to play more of it, but unfortunately my Xbox is kind of kerplunked right now. But hopefully I'll get that
What a word.
fixed. Yeah, I don't know what's going for.
I mean, it worked. But,
Kind of dead at the moment.
yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. I think I had a Deus Ex game on the original Xbox, but I was probably like 7 years old or 8 years old, so I had no idea what I was doing. So it's cool to get an experience with the franchise. And then lastly, I've been playing a Wii Happy Few, which I believe you can play the first hour or 45 minutes on Xbox One via trial. I think it's on Steam or PC as well, one of those formats. And we got a code for it, early access, so I can play it continuously. And it is worth noting, you need to know that it is in early access. It's in its alpha. It's still it still has a while to go before its full release and story release, which is the biggest reason why I wanted to play We Happy Few, because its premise, it looks so creepy, and I want to know more, just how the world is. But from what the early access is, they present it as a roguelike, and I have to say I don't think it's a very good roguelike.
You're not really working toward anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and again, we could see improvements next month with some of the stuff within that roguelike that makes it more enjoyable.
Yeah.
One thing I really appreciated is the fact that if you've seen the E3 demo where the girl walks in like, "Oh, you haven't taken your joy," and he's like, "Oh, I'm very happy right now. I take my joy. I'm good." You kind of replay that scene, and you can elect to take the joy. And if you do take the joy, the credits end. The game pretty much ends. I thought that was just a really cool touch. Like you take the joy, there's no problems. But then if you elect not to, as you see in the trailer, I think it was E3.
There's going to be tons of clickbait articles about that, like beat the game in 2 minutes. Here's how.
Yeah.
Like,
I want to see speedrunners play this game.
Everybody did that. Yeah, and then chaos ensues, and why I don't think it's a good roguelike is like the second you walk out, I feel like you're immediately hungry or thirsty or tired, and it happens way too frequently.
Sounds like real life.
Yeah. If you're
man.
thirsty or hungry or tired, you have some kind of negative effect, whether it's decreased stamina or I think maybe you take more damage or something. Some kind of negative effect of being hungry, tired, or sleepy. The problem is that so often you will get tired, hungry, or sleepy. I'll be really thirsty. I'll drink from a water pump, and not even 5 minutes later, I'm thirsty again. And it's like, are you kidding me? I just got a drink. Why do I need to get more? Get more water. And if you sprint or you're in combat, that's how you get fatigued and you get hungry, and you lose you start to gain more I guess weaknesses. I guess I don't know what you want to call it. And I mean that is cool, but yeah, overall, the world was not that impressive. It is randomized, so I did.
oh,
one.
really? I was going to ask you that when you streamed, and I figured it's probably just like the story world that you play in, because at this point in development that they're at, they probably wouldn't make it randomly generated, because that'd probably be too much. But that surprises me, honestly.
Yeah,
I was going to
because
ask you.
I think the story isn't out for I think probably like 6 months or maybe even next year. And
It's so weird that they would show at E3 they showed the story portion when they were just about to release the version they release now.
Mhm.
It has nothing to do with the
what
story.
I guess maybe because I didn't progress far enough, and I didn't pursue the main quests within this alpha enough. You see yourself in a normal society, with the police around. I think they're called bobbies, like the police and other civilians while you're on joys. You're happy, and I don't know if you can achieve that, if you can get to that point in the alpha. I would guess so. I think I just have to play it more and like complete one run, I guess. Um, but yeah, like I'll do one run, and I have to find out who won. I think bingo or something. And he's like, "Oh, tell us who won bingo." And he's like, "It was this guy. No, it was that guy. Am I close?" Like, "Oh no, you're still a downer." And you have to go find out.
Oh.
That's like what they call it. You're not on Droid. It's like the sick people.
Well, no, but I mean, like there's one point in the cutscene, like in the beginning, where she can tell that he's not on Joy just because like he's disgusted or whatever, and then this guy randomly is just like, "Hey, do you know who won bingo?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"No, you haven't been taking your drugs, have you?" It's like,
Yeah, like,
Such a weird
I
question.
don't understand. Like I
Yeah.
intentionally walked up to him. Like I took my Joy and walked up to him because when you take a Joy, like it's a lot brighter, it's a lot more colorful. And even you notice when you walk, like you're filling your arms happily. You're like la 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 la. And if you're not, you're kind of like sagging, and you're kind of like limping almost. Like you're not really upright. And I was hoping maybe if I were on my Joy, he would kind of just take that as like, oh, you're on your Joy. Don't worry, you can go through. But that wasn't the case. And another playthrough, I think I had to like get B. I had to get honey for this guy. But the problem is, like, I have no idea where to look for this. I think it's like a specific tree that has honey or has a beehive attached to this tree, and I have no idea where to look. I'm constantly looking at my map, which isn't an inconvenience. Like, I wish maybe it was in like a corner of the screen or something, because there are areas I didn't explore yet, and like you'll come across abandoned houses or ruined houses with people inside, and they'll have items you can scrounge for, and if you get caught stealing, they're going to come after you. It's intense because you'll start hearing people talk, and you see like three people chasing after you. And like, oh god, please! Like I was trying to survive here, but I didn't realize you caught me, so I'm just going to try and run away, or maybe you can fight them off. But yeah, I'm hoping they can improve upon it over the next few months. If you're looking forward to We Happy Few, I think you should give this a chance. The roguelike part of it. I'm most interested in the story, so outside of wanting to play it because I want to write a piece on just my thoughts on the game and get a more full experience for this piece I want to write. After that, I'm probably going to wait for the story. It's worth trying out.
and the thing is too is, regardless, if you're gonna get it regardless of reviews or like if you're not gonna wait, if you're gonna get it when it comes out no matter what, if you pay for it now, it just upgrades to the full version, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I think it's
So
$30 on Xbox One. I would guess it's the same on PC. Yeah, $30, and I almost positive you just upgrade to the version that I have, where you can play as long as you want, and I think that's better because like I feel like 45 minutes isn't really ample time. Like you can maybe get one run in, but you're gonna want more out of it. But regardless, I look curious to see if they change anything or add anything. Like I would love to see them fix or adjust the rate at which you grow thirsty or hungry or tired, because it seems like every minute I was one of those three things, and I was scrounging. It wasn't a problem because I wasn't starving to death or dying of thirst. But if my meter was like only halfway full, I was I want to find something, but I was scrounging around for like rotten apples and other unhealthy foods, which has a cool effect where you'll get sick and you have to kind of heal yourself, and you can like vomit, and you don't I think Jake said like he died because he kept throwing up because he was sick, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, it's if they could fix that rate at which these things occur, these status effects occur, then I would be a lot more willing to try out the roguelike part of it. Anyways, let's move on to something very happy that I know all three of us are very excited for. some Pokemon news.
Yeah.
So
Boom. Oh.
this is some huge. Oh, sorry, the news storm. It kind of coincides. They're both things that you can say boom for.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, okay.
so some huge Pokemon Sun and Moon news drop. There's a 5 minute trailer that you can check out. It just goes into some new things, and this is via IGN, and some new details about the game. There are uh, 6 brand new Pokemon. They showed off the Poke Ride feature, Z moves, and the island challenges. Um, First and foremost, they unveiled the Alola forms, which is a subspecies of the Pokemon, and these are all throughout the new region of Alola. And you see ice versions of Vulpix and Ninetales, Sandshrew, and Sandslash, and turning Executor into a giraffe thing. Like it has the neck of a giraffe.
He's a Dragon Palm tree now.
Yeah, well, the stupid Executor smile, like on top of a really long neck, and it's just like it's so derpy looking.
Did you guys hear the thing where I guess I don't know if it's the NPCs say it or if the Pokédex says it, that the Alolan people believe that this Executor is the original Executor, and that the ones that people see in other regions are the more like the ones that have adapted to other environments, and this is actually the original one. And it's interesting because if you I watched a video last night where they had the Pokemon TCG, and it was the second pack that ever came out, the Jungle Pack. The box art for that in Japan has an Alolan Executor like 1-to-1. It's the craziest thing ever. And if you guys can find it, I think just type in probably like Jungle Pack Alolan Executor on Google, and it should probably come up with the picture I'm talking about. But it's 1-to-1. Like they had to have been probably sitting on this design for a long time, I would assume.
Yeah.
It's
Well, it
really
makes
weird.
sense too, because I mean he's a palm tree, and when you think of a palm tree, you think of like a tall tree, and like in the
his
other
design
games,
was always really weird. You know what I mean?
yeah, he's like a
Considering,
short and stubby palm tree in the other games. But then it makes sense now that they're
yeah,
like adapting to their region, because like in the other games, like they're not really tropical, so it
yeah,
would make
yeah,
sense that he's like shrunken down, like the sun's not as powerful there and whatnot.
yeah.
So,
It's
but that's my
crazy.
favorite thing about like what they revealed is just like these new forms, because playing all the Pokemon games over the years, like you get sick of like seeing the same ones. It's like, all
Yeah,
right, I already caught them, and now like everything is old. Everything old is new again. Like you want to go out and
Mhm.
like catch these Pokemon that we've known from like over these generations of games again, because they're totally different typing.
Yeah,
And it just totally changes up the game.
Vulpix, Ninetales, Sandshrew, even
and
Executor. Like these are all Gen 1 Pokemon, and now they're completely different. I think Ninetales is what, Ice and Fairy now as
yeah,
opposed to Fire.
this
That's
brings them into
wild.
the meta too. Like, Ice and Steel is a crazy typing, and Fairy and Ice is a crazy typing. So it's gonna bring Ninetales and Sandslash. Like, you're gonna see a lot more of them if you like, bother if you care about the competitive scene and stuff like that. Which is cool to see, like, because old like Gen 1 Pokemon really don't exist in like the newer generations like meta.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of like Klefki and Arceus and like all those like new Pokemon. But it's gonna be cool to see newer variants of older Pokemon that are gonna be a lot more popular. So it's a crazy thing they've done.
I'm curious to see like if there are like if it's just specific to these kinds of Pokemon, or if it's dozens and they're just not showing us and they're going to
I
surprise
hope
us
I
come
hope they
release.
don't. I hope there's some they don't talk about.
Oh, absolutely. That
That'd
would
be
be so.
crazy just to see, like, a lot of people are talking about how this is really reminiscent of the Orange Island arc of the Pokemon
Yeah.
anime, and people want to see that Crystal Onyx so bad.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, because they had
wild.
done the whole ice motif. So
Hmm.
it's gonna be really crazy.
Um, so they revealed 6 new Pokemon, including Gumshoos and Mudbray, each
And
part of the evolution chain for the already revealed new monsters Yungoos and Mudsail, as well as Oricorio, a dancing bird that changes style depending on the Alolan Isle it's on.
It kind of reminds me of Meloetta, if you guys know that legendary, where
I
it's kind
don't,
of like
but
the dancing Pokemon that changes its typing depending on what stance it's in.
oh yeah,
Yeah, but I like the whole region variant or the island variant typing of it, which is pretty cool.
mm. And then
Has a really crazy ability, like
yeah,
the fact that it copies dance moves. Because like again, the meta is full of like swords dance and stuff like that. So whenever the enemy does swords dance, it does swords dance without taking up a turn. So
yeah, that's wild.
it's gonna be a Pokemon you're probably gonna see in the meta. So
Um, they also the story goes on. The game's islands are a major focus, with the trailer also revealing the island challenge, described as quote your rite of passage. It appears to be the game's new main quest, seeing a trainer sent to complete trials according to each island's theme, facing off against special totem form Pokemon and fighting Kahunas, each island's boss trainer. So it seems like they're getting rid of gyms and
I kind of
replacing
like
it with
that
this.
yeah.
Yeah, I do
because
too. Like,
gyms feel really city-ish. You know what I mean?
mhm.
But like for an island, it sounds cool to have like this trial that you have to complete. It feels a lot more like um it fits the setting a lot more than like
Oh,
this
absolutely.
weird building just like on a
And
tropical
this
island.
and
Yeah.
this guy who's been the gym leader for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like we've seen that so many times. It's nice to see a change.
right.
And like I would love to see some kind, maybe like a puzzle or something before the fight, like something you work
Oh yeah, I'm sure
towards.
they
To get to these trials and these fights against these like I guess
the totem
leaders.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
It
wonder if you can
sounds
catch those and
well,
actually use them in battle.
it's weird because there's one of the new Pokemon they showed off. They they kept saying that it's the totem Pokemon of this island. So I'm wondering, yeah, if there's gonna be um like totem specific Pokemon that you'll only see during those fights, and maybe they'll give them to you, or
hmm
you'll have to catch them or something. But um, it's really cool. Like I bet it'll be like you'll go to this island, and then that'll probably be the first time you see that Pokemon, the totem
hmm
Pokemon, and then maybe you'll see him on the next island or whatever. It's such a crazy like thing they've done. It's really interesting.
I know they specifically highlighted like the ice Vulpix and all that stuff. Did they mention if that's going to be the same for like a fire type islands or like the different
I never
islands throughout?
I've never thought about that. I'm sure.
Because like I don't know
Yeah.
like if it would be like say a fire like Seal Dugong or Articuno. Well, I guess that'd be basically Moltres at that
Could you
point. But
imagine a fire dugong?
that'd be crazy.
Like a
That
lava,
like
like one that lives in a volcano, spits lava.
with a slurpy
Yeah.
tongue.
Yeah. That'd be
Like
cool. I bet they might go that route. You never know. I mean, if they're going this far to change
it would just be weird to
Pokemon
have
to
see
ice,
to like one, and like it makes sense. You want to keep it fresh, and you kind of want to bring Gen 1 Pokemon back into the fold.
yeah.
It would be cool to see done to other types as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking about gyms too, and like just how nice this is. Like you guys were saying, like it's just a nice, like fresh, like change. But also, like I feel like that's better for the story because I felt like the gyms never really made sense because a lot of the gym leaders always made it sound like no one's ever beat them before. Like when you get to
Yeah.
Giovanni and Gen One, he's like that the help guy. When you walk in, he says like he's never even had to use like half his true power. Yet you go to like Victory Road and there's hundreds of dudes hanging out there, so it's
Yeah.
like obviously this dude's been beaten like hundreds of times.
Yeah, yeah. They also introduced 2 new features, Poke Ride and Z moves. According to the Sun and Moon website, Pokeride is enabled by special Pokemon that can help you cross impassable terrain. It's not an HM in the same way, say Fly or Surf, but specific to special Pokemon that'll help you in each situation. But these Pokemon can't be caught and added to your team.
So it's gonna be like
It's
X
almost like a
and Y.
service. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds familiar. I haven't played X in a while, but I
Yeah,
remember
X and Y you
some.
could ride like it was like Rhydon or Rhyhorn or
Yeah,
whatever, and you could you plowed through like rocky terrain. Or was that X and Y or was that
I think it was because
okay?
it was like, oh god, there was like a like some kind of cave you go to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you needed it to pass like a rocky like ground and stuff like that because the whole like thing was like was it your mother was a ride-on racer or Rhyhorn racer and then
Yeah,
you could
I never told you.
yeah. But no
Uh,
that's cool. I like it and I just hope it's not like
A
annoying.
gimmick or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's interesting is they show someone even like flying on a Charizard.
Yeah, I kind of
Um,
hope it's like soaring in Alpha Sapphire and
Oh yeah.
Ruby.
yeah, and all these Pokemon are like for rent, so it's like I wonder if they're getting rid of HMs, like if they would go that far to where like instead of like surfing each island you
But
would like
Jason,
rent.
everyone
I feel
loves.
like yeah, I feel like it still fits the narrative too, where like there's not a lot of technology on these islands by the sound of it. So like I said, there's not a lot of like high tech gyms and stuff. So instead of like having these yachts and these like SSN that takes you around, instead you ride a Lapras to each island, or like something like that. Or
Yeah.
instead of cars, you have
Like the Pokemon really serve
Rhyhorns.
a purpose beyond
Yeah,
fighting, capturing, and stuff.
They
yeah.
did have vehicles in the artwork when they originally showed this game. I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
if you guys remember that they had like fire trucks and weird stuff where they
yeah,
had
yeah.
like Blastoise sitting in the back, and I was like, wonder what that's all
They
about,
yeah
but we
they
haven't
seem to
seen anything on
be
that.
Blastoise minigame.
they seem to be adapting Pokemon to society in this
Yeah.
in this series, which is cool, or in this generation.
Didn't they send people out to like Nintendo or the Pokemon companies send people out to islands to kind of draw inspiration, like
I
get a
wouldn't be surprised. That's normally what they do. So.
yeah. I feel like I heard that.
They like leave them on an island for like a month.
Yeah.
Come back. I don't want you to come back unless you draw 3 new Pokemon that are
Yeah.
specific to this island. Okay, sir. And then lastly, Z moves are theatrical new special moves that can be used once per battle, but there are specific prerequisites to use them. The player will earn a Z ring into which they can place Z crystals. If a Pokemon is holding the same Z crystal as the player has equipped, they can use a Z move. There's one Z move per element type. And just a reminder, the new games arrive November 18th in the US and November 23rd in the UK. So, what do you guys think of the Z moves?
I think it's gonna be
Uh,
a meta thing. I don't
yeah,
think I don't think people who play the game casually are gonna be that interested.
like
Um,
I'll use it to get past that
yeah.
battles, big Pokemon. But outside of that,
I think in the meta, it's gonna be one of those things where you won't know what Pokemon's holding the Z Crystal and has that you could throw Z Crystal on like a dumb like Snorlax and just like nuke the enemy team and they would have no idea that it was holding it. So in the
yeah,
multiplayer, it's gonna be really strong, I think. But I think in solo, you're just gonna kind of use it on a weaker Pokemon that you might have in your party, so that if you wipe your really good Pokemon, you're still gonna have that one Pokemon that has that ace up his sleeve. So
I hope there's like
yeah.
a strategy to it. It's more than just like you can go right into battle and use it. Because I wasn't a fan of like Mega Evolutions because it seems
yeah,
like you just like jump right into battle and then like Mega evolves someone right away. And I hope like you can't just
I bet there's a
jump into
gauge
battle
to
and like
fill or something like that
yeah.
because you can put it on they showed it on the starters like Litten and all of those. So I can't imagine it's just something you just click and then use it. So I
Did
bet.
you guys?
Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask if you guys saw like they're releasing a toy with this game. Like you can actually get a physical one of those Z-ring
Oh, really?
bracelets, and it like vibrates and lights up on your wrist
Oh
when you're
wow.
using it in the game.
Oh, that's
Oh
weird.
wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
Huh. So what do you guys think of that big Pokemon news in general? I know, like I was kind of out of Pokemon for a while. Like I was, kind of reluctant to get back into Sun and Moon, but this has me really excited. I'm not into the meta with Pokemon,
Yeah.
but I just love the idea of a new way to just the removal of gyms and something fresh. These Alola variants, and I can't imagine. I can just imagine like over 200 Alola variants. Like that would be nuts. Trying to find those on top of the hundreds of existing Pokemon, and how much they different, how much they add to the game, and how creative your parties can become with these.
I
Like how excited are you guys
I
for
hope we I hope
Sun and
we
Moon?
get another news thing this big late September, and then they just like wait until launch and let us, But I think they need at least one more of these big ones because this was amazing. Like
hmm
Yeah,
this is huge. And if they do something just as big like late September, and then wait until November when it launches, and then like once everybody gets it, they start talking about it. I think the hype for this game will have lasted for like what since the beginning of the year at least, and it's like I don't think people have forgotten about Sun and Moon since the weird trademark leak or whatever that
oh
happened.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think
yeah,
they've done so well of holding people's interest. So
yeah, yeah. They're definitely very smart. Like when they announced X and Y, they had a big blowout trailer that was like 4 or 5 minutes long, like this, and then everyone was confused because they never explained everything, and they waited like 6 or 7 months to show anything again. And with this, it's like every 2 3 weeks, it seems like we're getting some. Like the next update is already coming August 12th. So
oh
like yeah,
really?
yeah they said
Holy crap!
they tweeted out on the Japanese Twitter. So yeah. I don't think it's probably not as big as this one, but still,
Yeah, I
it's
just
like,
hope they
yeah,
don't release too much. Is my only worry, but
yeah, definitely what they've shown though is it's got me like way more excited than I've ever
yeah,
been for like
they've had more content than I ever would have expected they'd put in. So I
for
mean,
sure.
maybe this is just like the beginning. Like maybe we'll get the game and like there'll be like tons of things they'll never have said. So I mean, because they've put a lot of effort into this one.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Um, it's so exciting. We're getting um, a Pokemon that it just feels so fresh. And anytime you can go to a new Pokemon game, it's always a good time. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to that. I'm 100% sold on Sun and Moon, and whatever else they bring up, it's only gonna raise my excitement for this game. Anyways, let's move on to some Overwatch news.
In the docs, by the way, you have Overwatch Olympics, and I just pictured like that being a new game at the Olympics. So
Competitive
yeah,
Overwatch. Team Optic versus Team. I don't know.
optic.
Anyways, on GameSpot, the story reads with the 2016 Olympics just days away, Blizzard has released a big update for Overwatch themed. A big update for Overwatch themed around the upcoming Olympics. There are a few different components to this, starting with a new 3-on-3 weekly brawl called Lucio Ball. It's essentially, I know, essentially Overwatch's take on Rocket League. Matches run for 4 minutes and see teams of Lucios trying to knock a giant ball into the opposing team's goal. Lucio's abilities are somewhat restricted. For one, he can't shoot. Instead, he punches or uses his Soundwave ability to push the ball around, and he can still provide a speed boost, but only for himself. His ultimate, which would otherwise be worthless in this mode, is replaced with one that draws the ball toward him. Certain areas around the map uh, allow him to jump high into the air, and new sound effects, including a soccer whistle, accompany all of this. Alongside this game mode, loving it already. It's it's creative. Like you kind of want to change the pace from the competitive stuff of Overwatch. You can play this.
It just the reason why I was laughing is just like they have like new game modes, 3-on-3, like new soccer mode, new sound effects, soccer whistle. It's like, whoa!
It's so authentic.
Yeah.
Just like the refs in Rio.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait.
It continues. Alongside this brawl is a batch of new Olympic-themed skins for characters like Lucio, Zarya, and Tracer. These can only be unlocked by opening new limited edition Summer Games loot boxes, each of which is guaranteed to have one of at least the 100 plus newly added cosmetic items. These include player icons, sprays, etc. You'll see one of these free upon opening the game, and you can earn more by playing. And like the regular loot boxes, you can buy them with real world money. My goodness. And the standard loot boxes have been temporarily removed from the store. And in a post on the PlayStation blog, Blizzard teased, quote, "This is our very first seasonal event, but there are more on the horizon." So yeah, this is just something like, I'm really into Overwatch, and it's just something to keep me playing. If I'm not playing competitive with my team, it's something let's go play some Lucio Ball. And it's just silly fun. Like Overwatch is just creative and silly, and it doesn't take itself seriously. And that kind of is epitomized by this new event. It's cool to see it, going alongside the upcoming Olympics.
Yeah, it's a really cool update. I never thought they would have added like a mini game or something like that
Yeah, I
into
didn't
the
either.
lore. It's a really cool idea. It's something that might get me back in. I haven't even played since they added what's it called mode
Competitive.
the competitive mode. Yeah, I haven't even touched that because I think the last time I played with you guys was like 2 weeks before that and actually broke one of my controllers. I fired like one too many rockets.
Oh,
Oh,
And,
I thought you meant
Oh,
like
yeah.
out of anger, like
yeah, no,
damn
yeah,
you, diva!
Someone took my radar.
the R2 button won't even go back up now. So took it apart and like part of it actually like broke off
Gosh.
from firing it so many times. And my other controller's starting to do the same thing, and I'm like, man, I just can't play this game. I don't know if I'm pushing R2 too hard or what's going on, but yeah, I haven't played it since then.
Mario and Sonic Olympic Games, or whatever that series is, you guys have a serious competitor now. Yeah.
I'm sure that one game in Overwatch is way funner than any of the sports
Oh.
in that.
Well, I
Mario
mean,
and
there was
Sonic.
like, what was it, like freestyle dancing or something in the new
Yeah,
one?
it was like gymnastics, and they were like twirling
Equestrian.
batons around.
Yeah.
Eggman, like I just can't picture like Eggman like skipping around, twirling batons around and stuff. While, like Sonic sits in the background and claps. And
Yeah.
Every time Eggman jumps, yo, yo. Anyways, up next, the PlayStation Plus games for August are now available on the PlayStation Store. 6 games can be claimed by PS Plus members. Blah blah blah. 2 for each system. So on PS4, which you can get now, you'll be receiving Rebel Galaxy, Tricky Towers, and Ultratron. And then on PS3, you'll be getting Retrograde, or Retro/Grade, not sure the official title, Ultratron as well, and Yakuza 5. Definitely downloading that.
Yeah, I
And
feel
then-
like PS3 really got the good end of this one.
Yeah, I
With
think
Yakuza, it's
Yakuza 5,
massive.
didn't that just come out? Or did
Oh, I couldn't tell you, but I know that series has a crazy following. So
Yeah, I've heard great things. I've never played it, so probably not the best to go into 5, but I've heard like the lore background and stuff is fairly helpful for newcomers, so you can get somewhat acquainted with the previous games and the characters and stuff. And lastly, on Vita, owners will get Patapon 3
dude,
and
oh
Tron.
my god, I forgot about that. That game is amazing.
Never played Patapon.
I
Can
love the
download it for
Patapon
Greg
games.
Miller.
It's so good.
I
only
know
played
I
1
think
and
you're
2.
talking about Tricky Towers, Cody.
Yeah, Tricky Towers looks fun, but let's talk about Patapon for a second.
Go ahead.
But no, that game was a game that I had Patapon 1 and 2 on, like, when I was in high school, and that was the game I would play, like, on the bus rides and whatnot. and it's so it's rhythm based. It's like a rhythm based. You lead a bunch of like random minion things that you have to like a boss, and then you just like with the rhythm you play out certain beats, and they do different attacks or they retreat, and it's just really like I don't know. I have a really I like rhythm games a lot, so this was a really unique game when it came out, and it's crazy. It's just really fun. If you have any interest in like rhythm games, I'm sure, like beyond a shadow of a doubt, you'll like it. So,
I think you can download the first two on Vita too, right?
yep,
Because I remember playing them like 1 and 2 on my Vita.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, they're pretty
Oh.
fun.
There you go. Up next, some unfortunate Pokemon Go news that some people are upset about. So the original story reads on GameSpot: over the weekend, many players of the wildly popular Pokemon Go faced a pretty inconvenient turn of events. Third-party tracking apps like Pokevision have shut down. Access to the Pokemon Go API has apparently been restricted. In an update, it removed the relative location feature from the game, which was essentially the little steps for each Pokemon when determining how close they were to you. Um, it wasn't great, but it's weird not having them.
They said that that the reason why they took it out was because they weren't
It was broken.
well, it was broken, but they said that even when it worked, they weren't happy with how it was. Like they said they weren't proud of the content that it was because it was so like it wasn't professional. It was just like, oh well, do I go north? Do I go west from here? Do I go? And even then, it was really hit or miss. Like
Yeah.
how it worked. And they said they weren't proud of how it turned out. In considering how big the game is right now, I think they're really like they want quality. So they took the thing out completely, and they said they're going to replace it with a new feature. But they said
Okay.
they've got their nose to the grindstone right now, and they're trying, and because they're trying to stop people from location spoofing, and they're
Yeah.
trying to stop people from using these apps, and they're trying to make new features and this and that. So they just want to get rid of all the the subpar content, and then they said they're going to re-release that feature better, but they're so swamped right now, which is to be expected. So
Yeah, and there's an update to the story. I think the PokeGo Vision developers went on Twitter saying, we respect Niantic's decision about this, and hopefully, things can go better. But the update to the story reads, if you're playing Pokemon Go on an Android device, you're in luck. There's already a new app that bypasses the limitations to the API that are causing Pokevision to shut down, called Smart Poke 2. The app is in beta at the moment, but The Verge has confirmed that it does work in a similar way to Pokevision.
love finds a way.
What a name, like
Smart-
from Pokevision to Smart Poke 2.
Yeah.
This is the definitive.
Did you guys use Pokevision at all?
I didn't even heard of it until like yesterday.
I did, but not for like. I just used it just to see what was around my area, just for
Okay.
the hell of it. And
Yeah.
I mean, it was fun, but I never actually like went out of my way to go get Pokemon with it. But
I opened it once, and like around here there's not much, and so like there's like a freeway ramp that kind of wraps around here, and like there's one Pokemon there, and it was a Pikachu, and he was sitting right on the freeway ramp, and I was like, screw that, I just closed it down. I was like,
Honk
Time
at
to
you.
go walk
But there's a
the
Pikachu here. I gotta catch it.
yeah.
A friend of mine told me about Pokevision a couple days ago, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know this was a thing. I kind of just go based on whatever it says is nearby and hope for the best at that point. Playing it now, like it's weird to see, all these Pokemon. Like, I'm actively searching for a Squirtle or a Charmander, and you see three of them on the nearby thing. I was like, well, it might close to one of them, and it doesn't say. It's a little frustrating, but it's it's still fine. Oh well. Up next, Inside is coming to PS4 apparently. So
I didn't know it wasn't on PS4.
yeah, it was just on Xbox One for a while.
Oh.
According to VG247, Playdead's Inside will be available on PS4 at the end of August. But and VG247 cites a trusted source, so this isn't factual
Confirmed.
yet. It's
Yeah.
not confirmed. It was out. Was it at the end of July or was it?
Yeah, I think it was like mid-July.
Okay,
So
so yeah, not too long ago, a couple weeks ago.
Not a big wait. I don't think they'll really be hurt, you know,
yeah,
by
I was
that.
actually surprised though because Playdead kind of has like almost like a partnership with Microsoft where like with like Limbo, for
Yeah.
instance, like that took a long time to come out on PS4 and other platforms. So to see that come so soon, I was actually kind of surprised, especially since like they really talked that up at E3. Like I can't remember what his name is. He came out on stage during the press conference and he said it's like one of the best games
Oh
he's ever
yeah,
played.
he's like the ID at Xbox guy.
Yeah, and I'm surprised they didn't like throw more money at him to try to keep that like an exclusive for a year or something like they did with what was it?
Limbo.
The Lara Croft
Oh,
game. Like I feel like it should have been the other way around. Like I was really
Oh
surprised.
yeah. Um, yeah, not quite sure. I don't know when Limbo came to PS4 or PlayStation systems in comparison to Xbox. I don't know if that was the same thing. Um, yeah, I mean, Inside seems to be doing well. It's been received well, especially by you, Jason. So the more people that can play it, the better, in my opinion. Um, and I think if you wanted Inside an Xbox One, you probably already have it by now, or you've been planning to buy it like right away because you're anticipating it. I don't think it's like one of those things where it's like, oh man, it's now it's coming to like PS4. Like now, if you wanted it, you probably already bought it.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on to some Sonic news. So there are two Sonic news. These actually came out a little over a week ago, but we couldn't cover them on the last show. So, Project Sonic 17 has been announced for PS4, Xbox One, PC, and get this, NX. So Sega announced Project Sonic 2017, their new 3D platformer, due out, both physically and digitally during the holiday 2017 season.
so I never thought about this. You know how a lot of well, first of all, you know how they said that the Wii U wasn't or the NX wasn't going to replace the Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why it. Did you say it was coming out for Wii U and NX or just NX?
I think just on Gamatsu it just says
I
NX.
I wonder what that means. You know what I mean?
I mean,
I think the what's it called, the 2D1 Sonic Mania is coming to Xbox One and PS4 and not the NX, but the one that's coming to NX is the new game, which I imagine maybe just couldn't run on Wii U. The
yeah,
one that's coming out in
maybe.
2017.
Well, the
And
only
maybe like is that sales? Maybe.
the only thing
It
I
could
was
be.
wondering is because they've always said that I know this is just them saying this to cover themselves, but they always said that the NX wasn't a replacement for the Wii U.
Yeah.
And I know, like, what was it, that dance game, Just Dance?
Oh, Just Dance.
Oh yeah,
That's coming to Wii U and NX, right? Isn't that what they said?
Yeah, it's probably still coming to Wii. Like I wouldn't be
Oh.
surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Like it still sells really well on
Yeah.
Wii. So
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I wonder if maybe the Wii U will be phased out if it's just coming to NX.
Speaking of that NX logo they had at the bottom, it's really funny how people were like freaking out about that. They're like, "Oh, it's actually called the NX. Like, look, there's an
Could you
official logo and
imagine?
everything." Yeah,
Oh,
and then
God.
like Sega just came on. They're like, "Oh no, we just like made up our own logo because like Nintendo didn't even like give them anything." You know, they're like it's so weird because like at this point, like you'd imagine like they'd want to say something because like all these developers are finally starting to say like we have something coming for the NX, but that's not even
You
the
you
official name.
you gotta really give them credit though. nothing has, like... I mean, things have leaked about this thing, but nothing really definitive, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is almost like cloud status for Smash 4. Like, this was really kept under wraps, and it still has been. I'm really
And
surprised.
like we still
nothing...
have like a lot of speculation is that we'll be getting the reveal event next month. And if so, like we think we know like the handheld docking TV thing, but who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows?
I kind of like it at this point, honestly. Because, like a lot of people say, and I can understand it completely, that it's gotten to the point where it's like, just give us information, because we're
so desperate.
Yeah, we're like snapping at any little thing we can get at this
I know
point.
I am.
Yeah, but it's kind of cool, like, that they've kept this so under wraps so well for so long.
Kind of badass.
It's it's ridiculous this day and age, and where like
E3 stuff, like 2 weeks before we get leaked, but like the NX, probably one of the biggest stories this year for video games. Like, what the hell is it?
They probably looked at like how the iPhones were revealed, because like nowadays, like at a lot of big like tech websites, you hear like a lot of chatter about like what the next iPhone could be, and it gets like a lot of people really excited, and then you don't really even know what it is until they announce it, and then it's out within like a month or two. And I think they took that and they're like, we could use some of that thunder to like really push this, and I feel like that's probably going to change the way future consoles are revealed as well.
That'd be cool.
For other platforms.
Honestly.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty interesting.
I wonder if that's maybe like Kimishima doing that or something. Like maybe because he's in the presidency, he wants to take a new direction, like how it's marketed and everything.
Yeah.
But also, and
poor Sonic overshadowed by the NX.
Who cares about him?
Anyways, we have a second Sonic story. So, Sonic Mania is the next game in the series, and this one is a 2D game coming in spring 2017 for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. This was part of a live stream for Sonic's birthday during San Diego Comic-Con. And the 2D adventure harkens back to the Sega Genesis days with 3 playable characters, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and includes new abilities and worlds to explore. It would also include classic stages featuring new twists, members of Sega said during the stream, and it was playable at San Diego Comic-Con. It's cool that Sonic is, they're going back to the roots, but with also like a twist on it. With
I can't believe how long it took him.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you would think with the failures of Fire Nights and stuff, the failures of
let's be
the franchise, Sister Sonic.
Let's be blunt here. Yeah, it's been pretty bad.
I was definitely like in the vocal minority of people that wanted them to go back to the 2D game. So like this is like the best thing like they could have told me, because I was such a huge fan of the first 3 Sonic games.
I feel like the only people who really want a new 3D Sonic game are the people who grew up on the 3D Sonic games. You know what I mean? I feel like
Adventure and Adventure 2, and it's like those games weren't bad, but it's like, well, that's nostalgia talking.
Yeah, well, even when people say that, they say they're good games. I'm like, those were not good games. No. I don't know.
Not that great.
Honestly, I would say that for what it's worth, the 2D games are probably the most solid games that they released for the series. So I mean, I just can't believe it took them as long as it did to listen to the fans and go back to this.
I feel like they were kind of milking the franchise for a while.
Well, I mean, at this point, I would say that milking the franchise would have had them go back to the classic stuff. But
that's true.
They tried to do that with the last anniversary, where they made like the 3D side scroller, and
Sonic
they didn't
4.
get. Yeah, and they didn't get like the physics right and all that, so that's why they brought Christian Whitehead in this time, because I guess like he ported the older games to the iPhone, and like he got the physics like perfectly down, and so that makes me really happy that he's on board with this, because it's like, all right, I'm gonna be playing, it's gonna feel like an actual old Sonic game again.
Nice. Anyways, the last story it just popped up on Gamatsu, came out today. there's a season pass, unsurprisingly, in the days of season passes, for Final Fantasy 15. Just a real quick little story added in. Um, it will have season pass that allows players to download additional content. Pre-orders for a digital premium edition of Final Fantasy 15, which includes the game and season pass, went live on the PlayStation Store today for $85. And a season pass upgrade is also available for users who already pre-ordered 15 digitally. And
They're really going out for this game.
yeah, there's
There's
so many
so much stuff.
anime, Kingsglaive,
Yeah.
2D
I pray
game.
that the game doesn't lack because of it, because
Yeah.
Right there with
there's
you.
so much stuff.
Well, I feel like they're pushing a lot of that stuff because they're hoping that that'll increase like the sales for the game. Like they want to
Oh
grab like
yeah,
every angle of this they can to really shove that game out there. Because I
yeah.
think they said they have to like sell like how many millions of copies
Feel
even
like
like get
it's
their money back because
I
they
think they're
put.
like shooting for 10 million or something,
Yeah,
which is crazy.
yeah, it is.
Like, I could see it selling maybe 4 or 5, just because the hype, like, long way to Final Fantasy. But if it really is as great as, if it is great, maybe that'll
I
build
feel
up to
like
like 7 or 8 million.
they're hitting their audience as well too. I mean, like anime and movies. So, like,
And,
I feel like that's
and
gonna
I,
hopefully bring in the naysayers.
yeah, I mean, I personally have been really enjoying the anime. Really excited for Kingsglaive. I think it works because, what was it, Advent Children? Like, that came out 10 years after 7 came out.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like there was a disconnect there, whereas, Kingsglaive will be right there in the thick of it, with all the hype for Final Fantasy
I think
15.
I could be wrong, but I think Advent Children came out around the time Crisis Core came out,
That sounds about right.
so that
Like
might
oh
have been why.
06, 07,
Yeah,
maybe.
but no, I mean, I hope this all of this, helps
Yeah,
them
I
out.
hope there's a payoff in the end of a great game.
But the only thing I hope is that this doesn't turn into a 13 thing where they realize that Lightning is really profitable. Let's make 2 more. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
make 15-2 and 15-3 and 15-4 and 15-5.
Fuck,
Because,
that's 200 million.
yeah, like, let's make Prompto stories and, like, and, I
Pronto
just hope that,
VR.
yeah, let's not forget about that. Um, but no, I hope this brings in what they need to kind of like revive faith in the Final Fantasy series. But I
Hmm.
hope it's not too much that they get carried away again,
Yeah, I
because
mean, what I appreciate about Tabata though is the fact that like I forget the exact quote, but he says like I think to his team like you're not special. Like Final Fantasy doesn't
yeah,
have the name it used to have. So, get off that high horse of thinking like, oh, it's Final Fantasy, it'll be okay. Like, no, like the name has been damaged over the
I think
years.
13 was what,
Oh,
like in the fact that, I mean, 13-2, which was, or 13 verses is now like 10 years later a completely different game.
hmm.
I hope that kind of knocked them down a few pegs, and now they realize that
Yeah,
we
it's
really got
just
to do a
like this is
lot to
the
get
real
back in
world.
the. Yeah,
Yeah, you can't just fall back on, oh, it's Final Fantasy, will be okay. Like, no, like this game has to be good. Like, you know, people are more vocal now. So I'm like, oh, like, it'll be okay. Like, no, like people care and they will speak their minds in a loud voice. But to quickly finish up the story,
I
at
wish
E3,
Final Fantasy VIII had a loud voice to kind of at the time. My God, I know a lot of people
no,
like that game, but anyway,
I that's another discussion for another day.
yeah, yeah.
Anyways, at E3 this year, Tabata said that the game's downloadable content plans were pretty much finalized, and that it will include quote additional story content, costumes, as well as things that don't fall into those categories that fans will be excited to see. I mean,
Chocobo mounts.
yes, fat chocobo mounts.
Yeah.
Oh man,
um,
I want a Moogle mount.
oh, that would be wonderful.
Dude, that new one
Oh,
in
don't
Final
even
Fantasy
don't
14
even get me
looks
started.
so good.
Final Fantasy 14 put out a beautiful 2-seat Moogle mount.
It's like a bench, a bench carried by a fat Moogle flying in the air.
Wait, this is a real thing?
Yeah, in 14,
oh man,
yeah.
I'd pick it up for that.
It looks amazing. It's like, what'd you say, Brett? It's like $35.
$30.
Oh my
man,
god!
I'd buy it if I was playing.
Expensive.
Yeah,
The lowest,
it
or the
looks
highest,
so good though.
no, the most I would pay is probably like $18. Like Sleipnir was on sale for so long, I didn't buy it. But if this mount at some point goes on sale, I'm buying it. Anyways,
Find it really quick.
how are we on time, by the way?
Oh, we're way over, but it's okay.
Okay, I'll wrap it up.
We're an hour and 20 minutes in.
Really?
Yeah,
Jesus,
time flies.
Okay. So yeah, you can look up what you're looking up. I'm gonna wrap it up here. Okay, so that has been episode 73 of the Game Boy Podcasts. If you have any questions or topics for us to discuss, feel free to tweet them at us at _GameBolts. Check out thegamebolts.com. Some of the recent stuff we have put up includes, off the top of my head, I can't think of one. This is bad. Anyways, Jason and Jake will be collectively will be working on Abzu. Jason will be doing the video review, and Jake will have a written review. So expect that some point this week.
Jason, check that out. We need your reaction before this closes. It's amazing.
Oh, God.
Wait, how do I open this? 1 second. Where is it? Okay.
Yeah, we have your new what was it? I Am Setsuna review.
Yeah, I Am Setsuna review is on the site now. Really great RPG. Check that out for my extensive thoughts. Jordan, one of our new writers, put up an article, Playing with Power, Why Release the NES Classic Now.
Also, check out his, what is it, City Spirit Go article.
Yeah, it's like a Chinese...
It's really interesting. It's a knockoff of Pokemon Go in China.
Yeah,
and
let me check it out. It's a fascinating thing.
Oh, look at that thing.
Yeah.
I like that there's actually someone sitting on it, like a swing, and they got their arms up in there, like, wee.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an actual mount, a 2-seater mount in that game. It looks beautiful.
Amazing.
$30.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Worth it.
That's 2 months of a subscription for me.
It is.
I just got the Behemoth mount.
Oh my god.
Toby put up an article, how many first-person shooters, essentially talking about, are there too many shooters, and, will the likes of Titanfall 2, Battlefield 1, and Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, I think, is that the new Call of Duty?
Probably.
Something warfare. Will they eat into each other's sales, and, can it be good competition? And then, of course, Liam has a fun little series, make your own trophies, like a creative little article on the side. Hopefully getting my Xbox fixed in the next few days so I can put a little bit more time into We Happy Few and then have a more detailed and more an article with more weight to it, so to speak, about We Happy Few and its alpha. Outside of that, though, you can find all of us on Twitter. You can find the Game Bolt at _GameBolt. You can find Jason at
J_Smash1.
You can find Cody at
Ydoc Vader, YDOCVADER.
And you can find myself at Brett Woodmansee, WOODMANSEE. Until next time, you guys take it easy.
Have a good one.
Smell you later.
Oh.
Jason, please!